welcome for the first time. My name is Jessie. Welcome to my channel, Bobo Stitching Quilt. It's been a minute. Yeah. First of all, for those of you who are returning, welcome back. I really appreciate you coming back after my delayed absence. For those of you who are new, while I've been out, I have noticed that I had quite a few new subscribers, and thank you to those who gave shout outs to me to get people to come and visit me. But welcome to my channel. This is a channel primarily about cross stitching. Every once in a while there's a quilt or two, but I tend to, when I do actually have quilt content, so to speak, I will more likely not put it in a different video, but it may depend. And so, so welcome. And so yeah, it's been a second. So you might be wondering what happened to Jessie. So some of you may not be aware, but I live just outside of Houston, Texas, in the United States. So about 30 miles west of downtown Houston. We're basically a suburb of Houston because of of land sprawl that happens here. And I'm probably about a 2-hour drive, not in terms of like if it has the crow flies, but has driving goes about 2 hours from the Gulf of Mexico. Excuse me. That's important to know about what happened to Jessie. So in February, for those of you who may not be aware, there was a slight weather incident here in Texas. I'm going to be a little bit flippant about it going forward, talking about my experience and everything. Please know that I take what happened to us in Texas was pretty bad. It was catastrophic. It was a natural disaster. People did die as a result of what happened in Texas in February. So please do not take my flippantness right now as being not taking, being mindful of the significance of what happened here in February. So, but that being said, I am a person who tries to I try to laugh and silver line my way through disasters, and so I'm just caveating that I don't mean to be flippant. I'm being flippant in my personal situation. So, anyways, so yes, 2 hours from the Gulf of Mexico. We are used to hurricanes, tornadoes, warnings every once in a while. Not where I live typically, but that's the type of stuff that we're used to. My home was built in the late 70s, 1978, 79, I think is when it was built, and I had my original pipes in my home. Well, anyways, the short version of basically what happened was that we don't regulate our power grids here in Texas, so we lost power, and significantly for a very long period of time, a good portion of the state. And because of the way that things happened, if you lost power in the first day or two of the freeze event, which lasted about a few days, 3 or 4 days, it's hard to remember at this point in time, but it lasted for a few days, you effectively had your power cut off. So until they were able to stabilize the grid and get power back on for everyone. So basically, some people never lost power. They were fine. They were like, hunky-dory, yay, what's the big deal? And then there was this whole slew, million people who were without power for lengthy periods of time. It's important to note about the length of period of time because people are like, oh, why do you have the original pipes and stuff like that? Again, I live in South Texas near the Gulf. The copper pipes can withstand freezing temperatures. I've lived in this house. This is my childhood home. We've gone through freezes before. We've gone through freezes where we've lost power before. They can withstand a certain amount of freezing temperature. It's not that it freezes and boom, all pipes break. That's not how it works. But in this particular case, when you have long-term freezing temperatures, for which none of our houses are really built for that, especially not down here, and long-term, and we don't insulate. All of our pipes are in the attic. They're not insulated in such a way for long-term freezing. So for, I got a lot of like, oh, how did that happen? That's how it happens. Just flip it on the other side. We're designed and built for heat, right? I try not to laugh at people, but it's humorous, like you saying to us Texans, oh, it's, it freezes in the north all the time for long periods of time. Your homes are built for that. Just it would just be the same thing for me to say to you if you were living in the northern states. It's like, oh, come on, 95 isn't hot. How are you not dealing with that? Because we are used to, because our homes are built for long-term heat, where it's not unusual to have over 100 days of 100 plus temperature heats in Texas, at least where I live. So, neither here nor there. My pipes burst. This entire part of my house was destroyed. So you're seeing the rebuilt house right now. My home has been but this whole room got destroyed. My ceilings came in. My master bedroom ceilings came in. The door behind me goes to my husband's office. So water came in, went through the walls into that office, and then over here is my living room. And water went into there. We lost things on the floor, basically in there. And if it was like rugs, flooring, thankfully all of the furniture survived. This was on top of rugs and stuff like that. So we had a lot of problems. We had 17 pipe breaks in our pipes, so we ended up having to do repiping. We ended up living in a hotel for about a month before the house was habitable again. And then we moved back in. We lived here during the renovations because we couldn't really afford to keep staying in a hotel long term. And yeah, so silver lining of it all is that if we're going to have to renovate the house, at least we're renovating it in such a way that we're doing it for things, we're fixing things that we didn't like, right? Like, I mean, it's like, well, if you got to fix things, at least go ahead. Like, I got a bigger tub. Like, I hated my tub. I could never take a bath in it, and I don't take baths all the time. I'm probably like a once a month bather, but I do like taking a bath every so often, and so we now have a big soaker tub in lieu of a little tub. So we're like, well, we got to buy a new tub anyways, and we did because the bathroom got destroyed, and we had to pull everything out in order to remediate. Similarly, we're like, well, if we got to have a new bed, we went ahead and bought a king size bed instead of a queen. Y'all, that's luxury, like king size bed. We've never had, the only time we've ever had king size beds when we're in a hotel. So it's like, woo, king size bed. Yeah. So, so little things like that. Like we were like, well, let's go ahead and fix some things while we're at it. We painted the room in a lovely blue colors, and so it's we're doing our best to walk through it without crying our way through it. We are now on the other end of it, which is that we are not 100% done. We're not completely finished repairing everything. We've run out of money. So now we're working through the bureaucratic process to get a small business administration disaster loan so that way we can finish the repairs. But I'm very grateful and thankful that we did have the financial resources to get us this far. There are a lot of people out there who don't have that and who don't have, who are waiting for financial assistance, more so than trying to get the loan, which we're just at this point trying to. It's bureaucratic. It's nonsense, y'all. It's nonsense. Like how hard this is. We have to get IRS transcripts, and so my mom's the legal property owner of our house. I get my childhood home. And so she has to be on the loan, even though she's fixed income and can't afford a loan. Like she's not paying it. I'm paying it. My husband's paying it. Like she can't pay it. We pay her expenses now, right? Like it's, so it's but because she's a legal property owner, we have to get tax returns for her and things like that. And it's just like, fixed income lady, come on, like you're approving us. We're the ones with the income. We're the one, but we have to go through that. I understand why. I'm not arguing why. But it's, but like silly things have delayed this process, which is that because my mom is fixed income, she has no debt. She doesn't have any credit cards, no mortgage, no car loan, nothing like that, right? Like she's got, well, you can't go online and get your information from the IRS website unless you can verify your identity. The only way you can verify your identity is through verification of debt. How is someone supposed to do that if they don't have any debt? And so I serve low-income people in my work, right? And a lot of low-income people, like everyone thinks that they're living beyond their means. It's like, they're not. Like, you know, if you're low income, it's hard to get credit. It really actually is. And so they don't tend to have, it's a middle income thing, right? Having credit cards, having mortgages, having car loans and stuff like that. A lot of, and so like, I think about all those clients that I may have that can't get this information, and you know, and like how hard that is. And not to mention, like, we try to go through the SBA to, we filed the forms that they needed so they can request the information that they need from the IRS. We sent it 3 times and it didn't work. Like they're like, we can't read it. By the way, same exact form that my husband and I signed, and they were able to get our information, but for some reason can't get my mom's. So now we're going through the slow way. So now we're getting the information directly from the IRS, which can take up to 2 weeks. We've tried one way, haven't received it. Now we're trying a different way. So all I'm saying is bureaucracy is stupid. It is what it is. We're going to go through it, but it's stupid. Anyways, 10 minutes in. Probably don't care about this. This is kind of boring. But let's talk about some stitching. Let's talk about stitching. I know you're going to be like, it's been 2 months, Jessie. I'm sure you got lots to show us. I really don't, because again, living in a hotel, dealing with renovations, not a whole lot. But I do got some stuff. So I don't know how long this video is going to be. So let's see how it goes. I'm hoping that my husband and I are sharing an office right now, because again, that office was destroyed, which is where he works from home. And right now it's serving as a big giant storage unit, as we had to move a lot of things to get it out of the way. So we're hoping... and we just finished the renovations, like not this past week, not the one that just finished, but the week ago. And then we've been unpacking into the house. So we're hoping in the next week or 2, we'll finish putting stuff away that he can move back into his office. So anyway, but neither here or there. We're going to go from there. If you do hear laughing and stuff like that, my husband is playing a new game. So he plays Destiny most of the time. He's a gamer. He's outside in the living room playing his new game called Outriders. He seems to be having a lot of fun with it. So you may hear some guffawed laughings or like angry, like, what the? That's him playing his game. Don't worry. All right. So where are we? Okay. So I want to talk about some Flosstubers. All right. Yeah. So I have actually been watching a lot of Flosstubes. Despite the fact that I haven't really been stitching a whole lot, I actually have been watching people. I do tend to don't tell my boss. You know, I don't think she actually cares, but if I'm doing something in work that doesn't require me to have my divided attention in it, like I'm not in a meeting or it's something I need to really focus on and research or write or something like that, if I'm just doing like admin work or, you know, that kind of stuff, I tend to watch Flosstubes in the background. So I do watch a lot of, so even though I haven't been stitching a lot, I have been watching some Flosstubers, and I have 2 Flosstubers that I want to talk about and shout out, and that I've come across that are fairly new. They don't need me. They already have more subscribers than me, but you know, just in case you're watching me and not watching them and not the other way around, I did want to go ahead and point them out. So the first one is Georgie at Crafty Rogue Gamer. She's fantastic. She's across the aisle, across the pond, so to speak, right? That's how we refer to it. So she is in Britain somewhere. I don't remember where. Sorry. But she's fantastic. And so I am a geeky stitcher. I am a nerdy stitcher. I don't have, not all the things I do is geeky or nerdy, but I am myself a geek. And so I do actually have some things, right? You've seen my Sailor Moon. I'm going to show No Face in a bit, you know, so I do have some stuff. So I'm always looking for other geeky Flosstubers. And if you're a geeky Flosstuber, I am looking for you. So if you are making videos and I'm not already watching you and you stitch on geeky things, let me know. I really, you know, I want to be enabled. I don't geek on all the same things that they geek on, but I love seeing it. I love, right? Geeks know we like to share in our geekness with other people. And so, and this is nothing against the Disney nerds and the Potter nerds and things like that, you know, but I like to see the other, the sci-fis, the fantasies, the, you know, because most people are either Disney or Potter nerds, depending on how old you are and what you grew up with, right? There's, you know, so like I expect to see a lot of that, but I love to see the other stuff. So anyway, so go check her out. She's, I think, on 3 videos at this point in time. Really love seeing her work, and it's a bit of a dry kind of sense of humor, and I love it. But for her, now I don't Pokemon. I think I'm too old. I would say that. I would say, like, I think I'm too old for Pokemon, right? Like, I think I'm a decade older-ish, you know, from when it came out. Then I think, I'm like, that's not fair, because Sailor Moon came out when I was in high school. I'm a big Sailor Moon fan. So that can't be the case. I like anime. Anime is not age specific. So I don't know why I never got into Pokemon. I did remember watching the show. The only thing I can think of is that I'm not a gamer, and I'm wondering if that has something to do with it, because there was a game component to Pokemon. And, you know, like, my gaming is like Merge Dragons, y'all. Like, I don't game. Like, I play card games and logic problems and stuff like that. I'm really boring. I did have a Nintendo when I was a kid, but not like when I see the gamer style that's happening, like, I can probably get to the M, and then that's probably the extent of what I'm going to know. I don't really. I think the M is where it gets to the Game Boy. I didn't have a Game Boy. We had an Atari, a Nintendo, and a Super Nintendo. I think by the time we got to our third console, it was just my brother playing games. I wasn't playing games anymore. Anyways, I'm just babbling about gaming now. But the thing is that I don't Pokemon. But I think she was showing it because of another Flosstuber. But she had showed her, Georgie did from Crafty Road Gamer, her Charizard, which is the dragon Pokemon. My apologies to all my Pokemon fans out there if I'm saying it wrong. I don't Pokemon, but this is going to be my contribution to the showing of stuffies of geeky things that we like. May I introduce to you my Godzilla. So, he's pretty small, head for scale. So, but he sits right now. He's been sitting on next to our TV because we were watching all the Kong and Godzilla movies in preparation for Kong versus Godzilla. So, anyways, here's my Godzilla. He will live in my game room, in my craft room, in my craft room once we are once that's reset up. You know. But anyways, I show my Godzilla. Just in case any wondered whose side I was on when Kong versus Godzilla came out. Anyways. Another person that and anyone I mentioned, I'm going to link below, obviously. I also wanted to mention another Flosstuber. I think she's on video too now also, which is Memphis Sarah E. Sarah E. And she is very similar to me. So in terms, like, we have a very similar stitching style. I think she has a very similar way of doing her videos. And I really have enjoyed the couple that I've seen. And so she has more than two. I've only seen the first two. Really, really like her. I think that you'll enjoy her. If you happen to watch Pam from Stitching in the Land of Good Enough, similar kind of stitching, like a similar way of communicating. And I really like her. So I'm going to kind of give her a shout out. So these two are fairly new Flosstubers, and I hope that you check them out, because I think that they're great to watch. So let's go support each other. And now, speaking of that, I'm going to go slightly serious. So because I was out, I was not able to participate in Stitch Asia and things along that lines. And so if you follow me on Instagram, which please do, it's at Bobo_Jessie, Jessiec. Down below if you want to follow me. I posted a fully finished piece that I had done for my mom a few years ago as a gift for her for Lloyd, which is a Thai holiday. My mom's Thai, from Thailand. Yeah, I gotta say that, y'all. Thai, it's not Taiwan, just in case. Hopefully y'all know that, but I guess it's a common enough mistake, because I had a lot of people would be like, oh, you're from Taiwan. No, from Thailand. But so that was my participation. It was to show a previous piece that I had finished. And so I wasn't able to participate in it. And I am not going to go into full-on politics. I've been very triggered these past few weeks with everything. Just people getting hurt. Just people getting hurt. And just for who they are. And it's just very difficult. But that being said, I really appreciate that Abby Bella Stitch did kind of push out on her Instagram and everything for Stitch Asia, and to try to encourage that as another type of a representation style. And so it started getting me thinking about, well, I watched an episode of Something at the Bee, and there was a person who was talking about AAPI hate and what you need to do, and she talked about, like, what does it need to be a good ally, and she said something like, don't be an ally, be something else. And I don't remember how she phrased it, and I really liked how she phrased it, and I wish I could do that, but we gotta do more, right? We gotta do something else. So this is really talking about Flosstubers, and so it started making me think. I am so used to, as a Asian person here in the United States, used to never seeing people who look like me. It's just, I don't even think about it. My norm is to see white faces in media, whether it be on the news, TV, movies, etc. I can remember having very physical reactions when I would see Asian people on TV. Being like, there's an Asian person. I don't even care if they were Thai. Like, I don't think I knew a famous Thai person until Chrissy Teigen, frankly. Like, I'm not even sure there is another famous Thai person that isn't Chrissy Teigen. Anyways, but it's, that's not Thai. That's not, like, from Thailand, right? Like, so it's, so I don't even think about it. I don't even think about that almost every Flosstuber I watch is white. And so, because it's just part of it. So with part of Stitch Asia, I kind of went through and I'm like, I want to see how many people I follow and watch that are not white, people of color, right? Like, and I am very embarrassed to say that it's not that many, right? And the thing that I'm very sad to say is that I think the ones that I follow are people who most people follow. They're the biggies, right? Like, and so, right, like, I follow Alma's Little Wonders, Alma, Rocio for Kokohama Stitchery, Abby Bella Stitch, Black Ribbon Stitch Studio, Sunshine Stitchers, Almond M&M's, House of Stitch and Stash, and Married with Stitches. There's a newer Flosstuber. Again, he's got a lot more followers than me. Scoogy Knits is a young Asian man, who's a multi-crafter. That is it. And I did an experiment before I started recording this video to kind of be like, I wonder what happened. So I just typed in Flosstube into my search bar for YouTube, and I scrolled and I scrolled and I scrolled. I'm not going to pretend that it was at least 30 videos that I scrolled past before Sunshine Stitchers showed up. Scrolled, probably another 20 before another Sunshine Stitchers showed up. Scroll. Then there was an interview with Modern Folk Embroidery and Almond M&M's. Scroll. House, I saw Rika, House of Stitch and Stash. Oh, Rocio was in there. So I'm just here to say, I'm going to issue a challenge. I don't know what to call it. I'm not important. I'm a small Flosstuber. No one can, right? Like, I have no influence. Someone has influence over Michelle Bindi. Maybe she can push this out there. But, like, because she's a strong ally. But there was, like, a huge push on Instagram to follow accounts that are representative accounts, right? And I have, and this is on Floss, I'm talking about Instagram, very different story. I have a lot of ethnicities and cultures, genders, and sexual orientation. Like, in Instagram, I think that you can find them a little easier in terms of diversity. But with Flosstube, I found that it was very, very difficult to do so. And so it's kind of my challenge. Are you watching people who don't look like you, right? If you are, and there's not one of the 8 that I just listed, 9 that I just listed, tell me who they are. I really want to go support people who don't look like me and people who do not look like my dad. My dad's white, right? Just in case I'm mixed race. My dad's white. So it's, I think it's important. I think it's important to go watch people who don't look like you. Like, I watch a lot of Flosstubers who don't stitch in my style, right? Like, because I just enjoy watching what people are stitching. Like, I feel like we're sharing in a craft. And so even though it's not my style and not something, it doesn't mean I can't appreciate it and everything. And so I really hope that, so anyways, if you are not watching people, you're watching me. So you must be, well, at least watching one, right? But it's, let me know. I really would like to see who they are. I want to go support them and see them and see them, not for the fact that they are a person of color, but because they literally did not show up when I searched for Flosstube. You know, so let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let's elevate some of these Flosstubers. For all I know, by the way, right? You're going to start commenting. They're going to be like people with like 3,000 subscribers and stuff like that. I'll be like, well, I'm just an idiot. And it could be that the algorithm for YouTube is just setting it up to find other videos that are very similar to people I do follow. And then it's just like my obvious inherent biases that is making me not look for people. Anyways, we all have work to do, all of us. So anyways, that's my spiel on Flosstubers. But please do let me know. I really would like to see them. With that, half an hour in, we're going to now finally talk about stitching. Sorry, might as well have gotten some popcorn. Looks like it might be a movie. So, get my sips. Here we are. Again, I didn't do a whole lot in terms of a variety of pieces because I was kind of living in the hotel and I was just kind of grabbing things that I could easily grab, and also things that kind of didn't require, just one final note on Flosstube. I am going to officially end the cycle of thank yous. So, Crafty Rogue Gamer, Georgie had comments like, she goes, what do we do that? Going around back and forth with people. I am officially ending it. You do not have to tag me back. You don't have to say thank you in your next video. You know, so we are officially ending this cycle. So I don't expect a shout out in return. So, all right. So where are we? I have one finish, which I'm super excited to say. So I have been trying really hard to maintain with magical stitches. If I didn't have a project, I would work on penalty stitches and things like that. If I've been trying to maintain my whip goes, I've been trying. Whether or not I've been doing a lot, I don't know, but I have been trying. So I'm very excited to show that I have a finish for polar bears. So here it is. So this is was my oldest whip. It's no longer my oldest whip. And so a few months ago, I was going through cleaning things out and I came across a couple of little packets of cross stitching that was obviously from when I was in high school, when I had originally started in junior high or high school. And this was one of those ones that I had started. When I found it, I did have just a few stitches along the face of this little guy. And so technically he was a whip. And so I've been working on him and there we go. He's cute. They're cute. I will say that they're cute and not by style now. I would not pick this up intentionally. But yeah, I don't know what to do with it. Do I frame it? Do I make it a pillow? I don't know. Any ideas on what I should do? I'm not going to hang it up. I'm just going to let you know. Not going to hang it up. It's like, so I really have no idea what to do with it. It's going to go into a drawer, I guess, until I figure out if it's a, I think it'd be a great like gift for like a baby room. Like if I knew someone who was going to do like a winter theme or a bear theme or something like that. Like, but I'm old. So I think that most of the people I know who are going to be having babies are the same age as me and they're not having babies. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But super excited to have that done. I now have declared a new oldest whip for magical stitches, but yeah, there we are. So take what you can get when you can get it, right? Take wins when you have it. This was a kit by Janlynn, and it was designs by Pat, and I have a notebook and I'm not prepared, which is welcome back to Flosstube, everyone. Obviously, it's on 14 count Aida. I used the call for DMC that was included in the kit. Oh goodness, I don't know who it's by anymore. It's by Pat and Gloria. It was designs by Pat and Gloria. Um, if the kits were still in stock and people were still buying it, it's out of print. But I had more than enough floss. It was, sometimes you buy a kit and you're like, it's not enough floss. This particular kit, there was. So if you happen to find them on eBay and you're trying to decide, like, oh, do I, because this was part of an Endangered Young Uns Series, and you're like, oh, is there going to be enough floss? First of all, it's DMC, so you can, you can get the floss, not a problem. And two, plenty. I've had kits where you ran out of floss, and then you're like, what do I do? And it's not DMC, so you can't, you're trying to guess, like, my matches. Oh, that sucks. Anyways, so that is that one. Next thing that I worked on. It's not the only thing I worked on, but I am working on Frank Lloyd Wright's office window. Sorry for the crinkles. So that's I'm trying not to edit this. So that's what it will look like when it is done. This is also a kit from Heartland House Designs. I'm using the called for and included DMC. There will be some Krynic, and it's on a 28 count even weave, and I'm doing it 2/2, and this is where I am. So it could be either way, right? Obviously, it's a symmetrical design, but in my brain, this is the bottom. I'm going to the bottom, and then I'll go back to the top, and let me get a little bit closer so you can see it. I only had like one row, like right over here done, which made it a whip. And I started working on this as part of various things, magical stitchers. It also was called for 2 times. I've had 2, it's funny, 2 of my projects got called twice, in WhipGo in February and in March. So this was called twice. So that's why I've been working on it. And I've been using it as part of the stitching battles for April as well as one in March. So I got a lot done in it. It's only 3 colors, and then the gold Krynic when the back stitch comes in. So I've done a lot. So I'm halfway through, actually a little bit more because this is the halfway part of the window, and then the back stitching. So it's easy. It's one of those that's super easy to do when you're not in the brain. I mean, there's counting, but everything's in multiples of 4, except for one little square right there, which is a multiple of 9. But otherwise, like, everything is just really super easy, and then it builds off of each other. And so it's pretty good brainless stitching, which is what I was doing in the hotel. So it worked out really, really well. But this is going to be a gift for my husband. Our very first vacation together was to Gettysburg, and then we went to Western Maryland to go to a tiny cabin campground, and we went to Falling Water, which was our very first foray into the Frank Lloyd Wright world. And so since then, every 3 years or so, we take a U.S. based trip where we go someplace in the U.S. And when we do that, we have, whether intentionally or not, have picked some place where we can go see some Frank Lloyd Wright homes. And so we started out with Falling Water. We went to Niagara Falls, and then we went to Buffalo for a couple of days and went to places there, which was the Martin House and Gray Cliff. We were in 2020 had planned on going up to Wisconsin and doing Taliesin and doing the tour of the Frank Lloyd Wright homes in Wisconsin, but that obviously didn't happen due to COVID. So we think that we'll do that eventually. So it's going to be a gift for my husband to put in his office when he goes back into his office. He has always worked from home with his current job, but it looks like they're looking into going back into a physical space in the next year or so. So we think that he's going to move there as part of that shift. Excuse me while I take a drink. I'm not going to edit this. I'm just going to say that now. It's going to be a long video. It's already going to take forever to upload. I'm just not going to edit. Next up was things that I was working on when the power went out. is basically what it is. The next two things are I haven't worked on except for a little bit. So first up is Funky Menagerie by Lindy Stitches. I am obviously not caught up on Stitch Along. I think that they have finished everything for all of their parts. I've only finished 2 parts. I was working on this the week that the power went out. And I did kind of pick it up a little bit while I was in the hotel. And then, was it last week? A couple weeks ago. It was one of the assignments for Magical Stitches to stitch on something with 2 animals. And so I picked it up at that point in time. And so I'm going to say I'm not going to edit. Now watch me come in and put like a picture of what it's going to look like when it's done. Hopefully I've done that. If I haven't, y'all have seen it, right? Because I don't have a picture of it other than the pattern. So, but this is where I am. I'm trying to hold this up in such a way where I'm not like flashing y'all. There we go. So this is where I got to for Funky Menagerie. I'd like to blame the fact that I was doing this in the dark, because I was stitching on this in the dark with my little headlight on night one of us losing our power. So I never actually said we were out of power for 42 hours in freezing temperatures. It was not fun. But night one, we were like, it's fine. We'll get through night one. No big deal. We went through 2 full nights in 2 days without power. Anyways, so I like to blame the power outage for me not catching this, but it wasn't. I started working on the ostrich beforehand, but my ostrich was off by count. And so you can see this little whatever mouse is touching it, and it's supposed to actually be 1 stitch over. I don't know if I care. I really don't know if I really care. So so that's where we are on it. So yeah, this is fun. Stephanie's patterns are a lot of fun. I am going to catch up eventually, and it could be one of those things that I do an animal at a time, and then all of a sudden it's done. But I did, the border takes a minute, but that's okay. So I am doing this on with all of the called for DMC. It's not a single conversion. 2/2, and this is on 32 count flax linen by Zweigart. It's the called for fabric, and I purchased it directly from Stephanie. So one more time, here we go. I always like to see if I'm gonna get something good from the YouTube screen grab. It doesn't. I always like some kind of like, like it's always like some more weird face. There, here's a pro tip, right? You just take a picture. Like you just, like you find one that you like, you time it, and you're like, it's perfect pictures that you do. And I don't always remember to do that. Anyways, but that's where we are on it. It's fun. And just in case you're wondering what my 2 animal that I had to come up with, I squished, although I have not stitched it, there is an octopus on here and there's a frog. So I said, beware the octofrog. That was my mushy animal. So there we go. And we'll put that back into its project bag. I have officially declared any project by Lindy Stitches is always going to live in my booby bag that you get when you purchase the kit from her from the 805 Stitcher. So that lives in the booby bag. Boop. You know what? I usually sit someplace else and then I end up throwing my stuff on the floor. And today I was like, I'm going to sit on the bed. Why did I not think of this before? Because now I'm just throwing it all on the bed and it's not ending up on the floor. All right. Now this is living in my Love You More bag. A little book sleeve from Love You More, Tea Time. This one is the Sense and Sensibility Book Club Stitch Along, which everybody is doing because why not? You get to read and stitch at the same time. What's not to love about that? I did not read the book. I've read Sense and Sensibility a while ago. I had thought that I was going to reread it. Wasn't going to read it at the same, like, I read pretty, I shouldn't say that. I should read that quickly. When I really want to read, I read quickly, but sometimes I'm like, meh, I'm just whatever. So I did plan on reading the book, but of course, part 1 came out right before the freeze. There you are. So I have only done part 1. I was not able to get the fabric from the book club people. Sapphire Mountain. Blue Sapphire Mountain? Sapphire Mountain. So I went ahead and called my local needle shop, which is ABC Stitch Therapy in Cypress, Texas, just north of Houston. And they're not open yet, but and fun story, I've never been in their actual shop. I've only ever purchased from them online. So, but as soon as they reopen their actual location, I plan on going and supporting them to the best that I can now that I'm broke because I'm fixing my house. I'm not really broke. Hashtag Asher's not really broke, just jokingly broke. No savings. We have no savings. Is basically what's happened. We're not retiring. I'm kidding. Well, we might not retire, but not for that reason. Because I own a lot of money. Student loans, law school, bad. Don't be a lawyer unless you really want to be a lawyer. Okay. So anyways, on that tangent, let me hide my tag there. So this is where I am. I have obviously decided to do the blue, the color wave on the blue fabric. So I've only done part 1. I'm going to say, like, when you're stitching on it, depending on your lighting, it is actually really hard to see the white. But then when I look at it in this light or in other types of lighting, I think you can see it really well. So I think I'm going to be careful of how I finish it. So that way the white will still continue to pop on the fabric. But I've only gone through part 1. I kind of wish, I don't remember who I saw it. I think I saw it on Instagram, honestly, but I saw that someone had picked up a light blue fabric, but they did the color wave for if you were to stitch it on white. And I'm kind of, in hindsight, having seen that, kind of wish I had done that, because I think that the lilac, the violet colors in the white color wave would have really popped on this. But neither here or there. This is where we are. I'm going to stick through it. I am doing this on 32 count Belfast linen, ice blue, Zweigar. So that's where we are. Again, I'll catch up when I'm able to catch up. Oh, call for DMC 2/2. I'll catch up when I catch up. I mean, that's just where it is. I joined another Facebook group called Stitch All the Things. How did I find out about it? Melissa from Geeky Witch was the one. I am going to forget all my notes. I'm totally going to forget what to put everything in the bottom. I'm sorry if I've forgotten stuff. I'm going to try my best. I might have to just rewatch this. I try not to rewatch myself, but when I edit is when I know that I get all this stuff. So anyways, but they started a Facebook group in anticipation of Stitch Mania shutting down and at the end of May. And so I joined that group. I don't remember why. Why did I bring them up? They are going to be doing a stitch along in June, which is catch up on your stitch alongs. Whatever stitch along you're working on, that you're behind on, that's going to be what we're going to focus on in June. So wherever I am, come June, I'm going to participate in the stitch along. Catch up on your stitch alongs, Sal, hosted by the Stitch All the Things Facebook group. So if I don't get to it then, maybe I'll get to it then. Before then, I'll get to it then. All right, I got 2 more to show you. So along with my whip go, I did have the Tree of Magic by Barbara Anna was called, and oops, I don't know why that got stuck. And so I did work on Tree of Magic. I think I have a final picture. I'll put it in if I edit. But basically, I also ended up working on it for one task in magical stitches. I know I did it for the assignment where it was her haiku, which was to pick a project where there was something in it that was spelt with 5 letters. And I picked the Tree of Magic because there's all sorts of houses in there, but there is at least a singular house. And so that is what I picked on. And so here is where we got on Tree of Magic. It was effectively a new start for me. I had done just a little bit of I had done like one batch of the trunk. And so what I had done is I finished the whole tree branch. I finished the top branch, and then I started working on the second one. So here's a close-up. I am missing a stitch in that mouse. I frogged that mouse 3 times, y'all. 3 times. I do not know what was going on in my brain that I couldn't do it, but like I just kept miscounting it. Like I was one thing over, then I was one thing over. Like I was like, what is wrong with me, Jessie? I was like, obviously my brain does not want to count that mouse correctly. So anyways, obviously I'm back stitching as I go. I love Barbariana. She is really one of my favorites. Pam from Stitching in Atlanta, good enough. And I think it's actually Michelle Bindi declared April Barbariana April. It was called for me for WIPGO in April. Why not? I will pick this up again in the next couple of weeks. Mostly to fulfill my WIPGO goal. But I think what I'm going to try to do as a goal for April is to finish out this branch right here. So, but I will probably pick it up. So we worked on Barbara Anna's Tree of Magic in that project. I was keeping it in its little rolling thing, but honestly, it's taking up a lot of space. So I have now put it into this Baroque Rose sleeve from Love You More Studios. Very nice. The last thing I worked on was now my new declared oldest whip. It is actually not my oldest whip. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Which is No Face Knitting. And this is where we got to. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw this. I put about 500 stitches into it as part of a Magical Stitches homework assignment. I did penalty stitches, which is kind of funny. I was like, I shouldn't have done that. I should have just done it for a battle or something. Because why do penalty stitches for a homework? You might as well work on the other things. Just, my team's losing. But that's why we're losing. It's because Jessie has this mindset of like, why do it? So this is where we are. Design is from Harp Seal Design. She doesn't have it on her website anymore. My guess is that because of licensing. If I was to guess. She does have other great designs on there that are Asian inspired, if you are still inclined to do Stitch Asia. But this is kind of where we are. This is on, I think it's on 14 count Aida. I'm using the call for DMC. I'm doing this 2 strands over 1. I hate this coverage. Absolutely hate it. You can see through it. You can see the fabric. And I really honestly don't know what I'm going to do about it. I'm going to continue to push through. This is a gift from my niece, who is a fan of Studio Ghibli, just like me. And she really likes No Face. So I'm going to push through. She's young. She's like 13. Like she's, I don't know if she's going to care that she can see the fabric through it. My goal is to finish it this year. It's just to finish it. And what I think I might do is I might test it. And I think I might test it with just No Face at first. Which is, I think I might go over with another set of 2 strands, tent stitch style. I might do it with 1 strand. I don't know. But that's what I was kind of thinking about trying. Because, right, like I feel like I should have used 3 strands instead of 2. And that would have gotten me the coverage I want. So I'm wondering if I go through and do 2 tent stitch, will it give me the coverage that I need? That's a theory I have. Has anyone ever done that? Does that work? Let me know. Have you tried it? Does it work? But for now, I'm not going to worry about it. For now, I'm going to go through. And who knows, maybe when the whole thing is done, I won't feel as bad about the coverage. But this is kind of where we are right now. But that is it. This is the last thing that I've worked on in this last couple of months since you last saw me. And at least that's what I remember. There might have been something in between the last video and the phrase that I have forgotten, but I don't think so. I think I've gotten everything. But that's where we are. I have one more thing. I have haul, but one more thing before I get to haul. So, as I said, No Face is now my declared oldest whip. If you have followed me before, you happen to know that it is not my oldest whip. My actual oldest whip is my Thomas Kincaid Once Upon a Dream Cinderella piece. They have the kit from MCG Textiles. Rocio is hosting a stitch along called Once Upon a TK Stitch. If you are doing any of these Disney pieces, please follow along. This is where we are. This is the only piece of cross stitching that got impacted by the great roof disaster. Ceiling caving in. I keep my cart in the bedroom here. It will ultimately live in my craft room, but in my quilt studio. But at the time it was living in here. Because I do a lot of stitching at night on the bed while my husband's playing his games. And we only have one TV. Well, we have two TVs, but we have one TV that has the Xbox on it. And so he plays in the living room, he plays his game, and I come in here and I watch Flosstubes and I stitch. So I keep the cart in here a good chunk of times for things. You know, it has my slip highs in it. Anyways, you don't hear all that. So this was in a project bag sitting on the floor. It was inside the project bag. So the good news is that it did not get schmutz or insulation or water directly on it, but it was in a cloth project bag, which means it did get wet. So it was sitting in the project bag face down like this, and it did get wet. The water seeped in and kind of went in. It did when I pulled everything out, it was wet. The floss was wet. The paper was wet. You know, I don't have a working copy of my pattern, so the pattern is wet, but it seems to be okay. Before you judge me on that, it's my pattern. I don't have to make a working copy. I can highlight the original if I want. I'm kidding. Like, in hindsight, that would have been the smart thing to do, but you know, when I got the pattern all those years ago, I was traveling. I'm not going to go to a Kinko's or FedEx and make a photocopy. And so I just used my original copy, and I've never made a copy since then. So anyways, you can see the watermark of where it kind of soaked into it. It does look like the floss is color fast, and the floss in and of itself has not bled or anything. And when I looked at the floss on the floss packets, it looks the same. Like, it doesn't look like anything has bled onto anything, and the floss seems to be fine. Again, I took it out. It was water, right? And so clean water, and so it seems to be okay. I don't know what to do. And does anyone have a suggestion? It does look to be color fast, so I'm not so, you know, it looks to be. I could be wrong. Like, I could start stitching with it and the colors have, you know, faded or something like that. I really don't know. Do I keep going? Here's the question. Tell me what you think. Do I keep going? This is a full coverage piece. If the floss is colored fast and they have not been impacted, all of this is going to get covered when I stitch, right? Like, so my instinct tells me, just keep stitching. Just keep stitching. Just keep stitching, right? Because it's going to get covered as I go. The only thing that hesitates is what happens if the floss isn't right. What happens if something's not quite right? Do I try to clean it first? Do I go ahead and wash this and try to clean it first? Try to get the stains out? Does it matter? Is my instinct right? What do you think? Give me an idea of what to do. I have been in decision paralysis about it because I've been worried about other things, frankly, to worry about what to do to fix Cinderella. But yeah, do I just go ahead and keep going? As is? Or do I wash it first? But then if I wash it first without washing the rest of the floss, is that going to impact my color if the floss in and of itself happens to not be color fast? Tell me your thoughts. I really appreciate it. Otherwise, it is going to be currently in timeout. Not because it's bad, because it's not. We love you, Cinderella. My goal was to try to finish Cinderella. This was my 21 and 21 piece for full coverage fanatics. There's less than 21,000 stitches left in this project. So it's like 20,000. It's not much less. But basically the goal was to work on this, do a certain number of stitches every month. And I was working on it. I was getting there. Like, I was on track in January. It makes me sad. It makes me real sad. I don't believe I have enough floss to start over. I will also say this. I will not start over. This is a pain in the ass piece to stitch. It's confetti heavy. Super confetti heavy. So I have no desire to start it over with another set of floss or anything like that. Anyways, let me know what you think. This is a movie. It's a movie. But I've been gone for 2 months, so hopefully you'll stick with me, and hopefully it's been interesting anyways. All right, let's talk about some haul. This won't take long. Although I do have quite a bit of haul. I'm not going to go through every single piece. So, y'all, this Picture This Plus fabric thing, ridiculous. So I did buy a lot, like $300 worth of fabric from Hanging Threads in the Christmas in July Picture This Plus sale in July of 2020. Now, to be fair, I was guessing what I thought I was going to need. Like, it was just like, let me just buy like 4 or 5, different colors, big yardage, that would be good neutrals. The only project I had planned for was Long Dog Sampler, the Templar's Prophecy for the Long Dog Samplers. That was the only project I actually had planned when I kind of made this big purchase. This figuring that I picked enough good neutrals that I would be able to plug them into different things. Well, and of course, as we know, Picture This Plus went into like shortage of meeting their orders and things like that. Not mad about that at all. Like, don't at me on that. I'm not mad about that. But Rogue Stitching, Hanging Threads, so it's the sister company. It's like the same guy owns both of them. Offered in October, because of the delays in Picture This Plus, to substitute it out with other dyers. And I was like, that's cool. And that by that point in time, I actually had a lot more projects I had planned. And so I went ahead and redid an order and that were specific to projects. And then they never came in. And then I get an email saying the Picture This Plus fabric is in. Yay! I was like, what's happening? And I should have never changed, because I still hadn't gotten my replacement order that I placed in October, which was supposed to come in sooner than the Picture This Plus fabric. And then the Picture This Plus fabric was available. I'm like, ah! Be fair to Rogue Stitching, they were fantastic. He sat on the phone with me while I went through and figured out what they had in stock, what projects I was working on, what did I need, and we went through it all. They ended up getting better out of it because I ended up spending more money because I had more projects planned and I hadn't spent as much. But it was a real, I was like, this is nuts. This is nuts. Anyways, I'm not going to go through each of them because I think you're going to just basically see it all as I start showing the projects I'm going to be starting over the next couple of months. But this is my giant stack of fabric that I have gotten from Rogue Stitching. Every single one of these, every single one of them is for a pattern I've already purchased. That these are all planned projects. So I will be kitting these up as we get ready for Stitch Mania. Talk about plans when I get the plans. And you will see them as I actually put them into my stack of projects that I'm working on. This is insane when I think about this. and I think about like how many projects I'm gonna have. Like I only have like 12 whips right now, which I feel is a very, very manageable number. This gives me anxiety to think about having this many projects on the go. So, but anyways, here they are, very pretty. I am going to go ahead and show you though. I also belong to Rogue Stitching's Fabric of the Month Club. I am in the Even Weave, the Lugana Club. So I'm going to show you these 3 fabrics that I've received for February through March. I picked so I also was finally off the wait list for Color and Cotton. And I will be getting that fabrics hopefully soon. But that one I picked a neutral, has the color wave. And so one of the reasons why I liked with the Rogue Stitching one was that it was multiple different fabric dyers and a wide variety of different types of colors. And I thought this was a good way for me to kind of see like learning about different types of fabrics and different dyers and what I like and stuff like that. So this one is from the Mad Hatter's Ship Manor. And it's kind of this purpley color. These I have no idea what to do with. That's why I'm going to go and show them to you. So that was, I think this is January's one. This one is Sunflower printed fabric. It's a pink marble. So this one is one of those printed fabrics. So it's got that marbling on there. That's also got those gold flecks. I don't know. It's a little washed out. I don't think you can really see it in there, but it's not, they're not really gold. Like it's print, right? Like, and so you look on the back, it's white. And so this is a printed one. I'm thinking about doing the Pride and Prejudice, the from Stitching Book Club. I bought the pattern, but I was thinking that maybe that would be a good. I have to do the floss toss to see if it's going to work, but I thought that might be good for the Pride and Prejudice pattern. And then the last one is from Mountain Air, and the color is Arctic Ice. And it's kind of this, yeah, that color is true. It's an accurate representation. It's kind of this teal greenish kind of color. So anyway, so I have those. So I only plan on being in this club for a year. Again, I don't stitch so much. I say that after showing you that big giant pattern. I try to stitch to project. I try to stash to project. And so because of the way I hated I don't want to become a collector of supplies as opposed to working on my supplies. So I wanted to have something where I could force myself to get a variety of things. So I have a sense of what it is. I will automatically start thinking about projects. I can work with these as I get them, and then I'll stop the club. So I'll probably do both clubs for about a year. That will give me 24 pieces of fabric to have, and then go from there. I did also purchase, so Lloyd Croton was from Pin Stitches, and so I actually was thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and purchase some of those other patterns. I think they are actually out of print, but I was able to find 2 of them. So this one is one for a mother and their daughter getting ready for something. And so there's that one. And then I also got the Thai parasol painting one, which is a thing they do in Thailand. So these are both from Pin Stitches. And I don't know when I'm going to work on these. I don't know, but I got them. And so these are giant pieces, and will take forever to do. I probably will not pick them up until I finish one of the 2 full coverage pieces I have. So that's that. I also, last but not least in terms of my haul, I got some stuff from Alforce Embroidery a while ago, November I want to say, and it went into mail purgatory in Russia. So it was stuck there in Russia, but I ordered the New Year sampler from Alforce Embroidery, so I did receive that. I will probably start this fall. What's really funny is that she sent me the Roman alphabet one, and I did actually order the Cyrillic one. Maybe she thought because I was an American ordering it that she thought, she didn't mean to order the Russian alphabet. I did mean to order the Russian alphabet. if you, so I have a master's in Russian, and so I was like, no, let me go and get the Russian one. I mean, really cool. It'd be a tie to my Russian, to my past to Russia. No, I got the Roman alphabet. So that's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and make it with the Roman alphabet. If I, I'm sure I could probably figure out the Cyrillic if I really, really want to. But so I went ahead and got that. I also must have been having some kind of a mental block. I ordered a floss pack for it. Their actual. Oh, I know. Oh, there's a glare, but I was trying to. This is how it came. Like, look for that beautiful packaging, by the way. So if you've never ordered from Forest Embroidery, so look at that beautiful packaging. So anyway, so I was like, oh, well, this is the same color. This is the floss pack for the New Year's sampler. It's not. It's not. This is actually the floss pack for the pendant that says Merry Christmas. For the Christmas. Oopsies. So some of it does overlap. Some of this does get used in this design, but it's not intended to be. So now I'm thinking that because she does have PDFs of her pattern, and I already gotten these, that maybe I'll order the Russian little flag pennant things, for which this is the floss pack for, and do that in Russian, and then do this in the English, or in the Roman, since it's not the only language that uses the Roman alphabet. So, anyways, I'm excited about it. I think it's super cute. For me, this looks like Christmas, but Russian Orthodox celebrates Christmas in January, not in December. And this looks like a December thing. And if you look at her Christmas stuff, it's the silvery, the blue. It's kind of like a weird. It's not weird. I didn't mean to say that, but it's swapped. So right, the Western way of colorways for Christmas versus winter, it's swapped for Russian. It's in terms of their winter is the red and golds, and their Christmas is the silver and blues. Anyways, so there's that. But bonus that I was not expecting was that if you do follow Forest Embroidery on Instagram, she had a little thank you gift for, I think it was an anniversary gift, and she had done a pattern for a Cinderella's carriage, the pumpkin carriage. And it was free. It was a free pattern. I think it's still free. I think you can still go get it. But she had said for people who had ordered a physical product that got sent to them, that the first X number of people would get the floss pack for the pumpkin carriage. I did not expect this to happen because it's Forest Embroidery. Like, she sells out of her floss packs all the time, like super fast. Anything in that. So lo and behold, to my surprise, in my package as it arrived from Russian Purgatory Mail, I had gotten the packet for the pumpkin carriage. And forgive crinkly noises, and in there, lo and behold, is the floss pack. So this was a real great surprise to me, and I am looking forward to stitching it. I had actually already downloaded the free pattern. So when this came in, I just was not expecting it. I had wanted to support, the only reason why I ended up buying anything that gets shipped in person is because of my mental weird block that I thought I was getting the same floss pack for the sampler, and I wasn't. So, but this is what these colors look like. Aren't they beautiful? Like that variegated coloring in the... So I'm super excited to see how it's going to look. And it looks like she does it by stitching. So yeah, isn't that an exciting, like, woo, look at that. So I love Cinderella, all things Cinderella. Really looking forward to that new musical. Andrew Lloyd Wright's Cinderella. Are y'all musical nerds? I'm a musical nerd. If you haven't listened to the handful of songs that they've released, they've released Bad Cinderella, Only the Lonely Heart, something like that. It's the Princess song. And then the third song they released was called I Know I Have a Heart. And it's so God, it sounds so good. I'm looking forward to it. Who knows when it's going to get to the States. I'm looking forward to hearing the whole thing. All right. I have one more thing to talk about, and then I'll talk a little bit about plans, and then that's it. I also purchased very recently. In fact, it arrived this morning. We opened our door and it was there. Some project bags, and I went ahead and ordered the Marie Kondo bags from the Container Store because I was like, well, everything that she has in her collection is environmentally sustainable, and so even though these are vinyl, I'm going to believe that she's actually done her job and looked for things that were sustainable. And I was like, and they came in 2 sizes, letter and legal. That's how they're described. Those who are new, Jessie's got a problem with measurements. I don't bother looking at them. So I do when I quilt. Like, I pay attention. I measure 3-4 times before I cut. But when it comes to just in general things, measurements, wing it. So I was like, well, I don't want a letter because I want to be able to put in. I usually take things off the Q-snap when I'm not actively stitching on a project. And so, and I don't mean every day. Like, I don't stitch on it and take it out every single day. But like, I'm going to go back to working on Frank Lloyd Wright's window. I'm going to put it on the Q-snap, and I'm going to leave it on there until I'm done working on it. So if I'm working on a project, like if it's magical stitches and I'm trying to do 500 stitches and I know that's all I'm going to do, I'll take it off. But if it takes me 3 days to get there, I leave it on the Q-snap for those 3 days. So, but when I'm not actively working on the project, I take them off and then I put them into a bag. Well, I don't have enough project bags. I don't have enough time to make project bags. And I do buy some. And I bought some book sleeves from Love Me More Studios. And I've also bought a couple from 805 Stitcher. But I'm going to say, let's see. Right? It's a mess over here. So here's the 805 Stitcher bag from Lindy Stitches. Like, it's a little snug. Like, right. It's a little snug to get in the 8.5 by 11 Q-snap, right? Like, it's a little snug. It can happen. Like, I can make it happen, but I can't put it in while I still have the fabric and stuff like that, especially when there's excess fabric. It's just a little harder to do. And so I was like, well, I think a legal size will be the size to get. That will be because I do the Frankenstein 8 by 11 Q-snap is my preferred for most things. So I was like, let's go ahead and do that. And so obviously I was going to make my own project bags and everything that would work. And this is one that I had made that was basically, which is currently housing Hello Pumpkin. You know, it's longer, but it's kind of got about that height. And so I was like, well, that one works for the most part. It fits my Q-snap, right? So, until I can make more project bags, until I can, and again, you saw that giant stack of fabric that I have, and I'm really bad. I keep projects like in Ziploc baggies. Winter Carriage is currently in a Ziploc baggie. And so I was like, let me go ahead and purchase something, but I wanted to be big enough that I can put the Q-snap in without having to worry about excess fabric and on that lines. I think the letter size will be too small. Let me go ahead and get the legal size. We measured the cart. We're like, okay, that's legal size. It should be wide enough for me to be able to put it into the cart. Not a big deal, but like I don't put because eventually I do plan on doing organization a little bit differently. But for right now, everything can fit in the cart. Y'all, this is the letter size. But letter size, legal size is 8.5 by 14. That's what legal size is. So I was like, oh, it's fine. It'll be about, this thing is huge. So it does not fit in the cart. So unfortunately it doesn't fit in the cart. But that being said, boom. Right? The 8.5, the 8 by 11 Q-snap fits in it. No problem. Flip it on its side. If I have an 11 by 11 in there, no problem. So, again, I don't use 11 by 11s that frequently, but I do sometimes. The pattern makes sense to have an 11 by 11. So, I think I'm going to keep it. I bought 10 of them because I was like, I got all these projects and I got plenty. And so, anyways, it's transparent so I can see what's in it. They were, you know, they're cute colors. Like they come in these colors, you know, so I like them. But they're giant. And so when I think about like what happens if I'm just kidding something, right? Like I'm just going to, you know, like I don't have a Q snap. I'm just gonna, let's go ahead and stick. Like, right? I guess it's gonna be okay. I did order the coordinating rope baskets that are a part of the Marie Kondo line that in theory these fit lengthwise into that. And so obviously once it's all said and done, I'm not gonna be working on all these projects actively. But what I didn't want to have to do was just worry about moving them around and things like that. So I don't know. Like when I think about like using the Love You More sleeves and everything, like I like them. As I have the budget to purchase them, so they are my whip goal rewards. When I get a bingo or whip go, I'm going to buy project bags, and so eventually I'll get there, and you know, and these will probably be useful in general for other things. Like, right, they're good storage bags, and they are pretty. Anyways, so that is that. So let's talk about plans. So Stitch Mania is shutting down. One of the things that made me sad about Stitch Mania, and going back to earlier talking about the representation Flosstubers, what do we call that? Rep Flosstubers? Hashtag Rep Flosstubers? Representation Flosstubers? Yes. They were going to, as part of their YouTube channel, they were going to interview people of diverse backgrounds, right? Designers and Flosstubers and stuff like that. So I'm a little sad about that. I have never done Stitch Mania. The idea of Stitch Mania continues to give me a little bit of anxiety. I feel like I see people who have 100 whips, right? Each their own. I am not here to judge you if you have 100 whips. To me, that seems like an awful lot, and I would feel a lot of anxiety about whether or not I'm ever going to get it done, right? Like, I'm like, am I going to get it done? And so last year when we went into quarantine, so that would have been in March of last year, my thought is that I'm going to monogamous stitch, right? Like I was already primarily a monogamous stitcher, but I was like, I'm going to focus on this piece. I'm not going to work on quilting. I did finish one quilt project, but I was like, I'm going to focus on Cinderella and see if I can finish a page of Cinderella. And I did finish a page, not during the pandemic, but then I was like, well, clearly I got to work on other things. Pandemic and lockdown is going to last longer than 2 months. You know, Texas never really fully shut down the way it should have. The United States never fully shut down the way it should have, but neither here or there. We shut down. We went into hermit mode. We did what we were asked to do by smart people. So so there's a part of me that thinks it's the very last Stitch Mania, has originally by the Facebook group, by all that, right? And so I thought, you know, I might do that. I have plenty of projects. I have plenty of fabric that I could do either the 15 new starts or even in its current iteration, I think, which would be 21 new starts. But that doesn't really appeal to me. So I don't know. I'm still debating whether or not to do the 15 new starts, which is how it was originally planned. But I think it was originally planned that way because it started in 2015. And so it was like a new start for the number of days. And every year they added. And there's so many different ways of doing it, right? So I did Monogamania. And so I think that's what I plan on doing again this year. And that I'm going to pick a piece, which will be my monogamous piece for the week in the hopes of getting a finish. And and then start something new over the weekend. And I might even do like a different like monogamous stitching. This is a thought. Like doing my version of Menagerie, which is Monday through Friday, do monogamous stitching on a piece that I think if I was to focus on for a month, I would finish. And then do a new start on Saturday and new start on Sunday. And that would give me, I think, 8. Like, right? That would give me 9. Give me 9 new starts because it's a Memorial Day weekend. And so there's that. So I'm thinking about that, and then I would kind of look at these various projects here that I have in hand and I can get ready to start. So there's that. You know, I could also go into full coverage Monogamania, which is what I did last year, which was to try to focus on finishing a page for Cinderella. I could do that again, and it's just like an only stitch on Cinderella until I hit my goal. I also still have to hit my 7,000 stitches for magical stitches for my full coverage piece for Sailor Moon Squad. So I could do that. So I don't know. I'm still very much in indecisive mode. I got 2 weeks left. We got to decide. It's April 18th today, I think. So I got to think about it. Make a plan because I'm going to kit things up. I got to kit things up. Buy some floss or whatever, right? So I don't know. I'm going to think about what I'm going to do in the next couple of weeks on that. And I might actually not decide until after next weekend, because what's next weekend? It's 24-hour cross stitch weekend. Whoop, whoop. All right. So I have taken Friday off. I normally do not take a day off for cross stitching. It's coincidental, but not really. So we get leave added to our leave bank throughout the year. We have a limit to how many we can have in one category. I'm gonna hit my limit on May 1st, and so because I know I'm gonna hit my limit on May 1st, I need to take some days. So I was like, well, 24-hour cross stitch is coming. Let's go ahead and take the day off. So I went and took Friday off for next Friday. So I'm going to have 24-hour cross stitching over the weekend. I am seriously considering, because I've taken Friday off, I might try Team No Sleep. We'll see. I like sleeping, but my thought was that what if I go to sleep regularly on Thursday night, wake up as I do regularly for work day on Friday. And so I would probably it'll be about 9 a.m. I wake up around 8:30 and go to work by 9. And so what if I sat down and did 9 o'clock and then see how far I get? Again, I won't think I would be able to stay awake till 9 o'clock the next day, but I was like, what if I can stitch from like 9 a.m. until like 2 a.m., right? Which is about what time I usually fall asleep. And that's a good chunk of time. And then I only have to get in a little bit here or there. But I'm going to try. I'm going to see if I can do Team No Sleep as far as I can. So anyways, I'm going to probably do a Flosstube extra for 24-hour cross stitch. I'm going to put together my plans for that weekend. I think I'm going to kind of take a look at what I have in my whip stash and see if I can find one that I think I can finish. If I focus on it and then make that my focus piece for 24-hour cross stitch, and then go from there. And so I'll probably do a video for an extra of how my day goes, what my stacks look like, whether or not I take naps, and we'll go from there. But so I'm thinking about it. So specific projects that I know I'm definitely going to work on. I'm definitely going to work on Frank Lloyd Wright's Office Window. I think I'm in finishing fever for that. I think even though it's got like 2,000 stitches left in it, it's not like, it's deceptive. It looks like it's simple and easy. In fact, it's not. It's like, it's easy, but it's not fast. That's like 3,000 stitches. So, so I'm going to work on Frank Lloyd Wright's Window. I will probably continue to work on No Face. We'll see, because that's now my second oldest whip. So depending on what shows up for magical stitches, I'll work on that. And probably Funky Menagerie. I think that those 3 pieces are within shooting distance of finishes. And so we'll go from there. I still have, I think, another 3 hours. I have to kind of look. So my whip go goals are 10 hours on each piece. And so I think I still have another 3 hours left to do for Tree of Magic, but I'll pull in Tree of Magic as well. So, anyways, that's it. Hour and a half, y'all. Man, if you made it through all the way to the end, I feel like I should give you a prize. I don't know what that prize is. So thank you for sticking if you stuck. My videos are not, they're long. They usually hover around 40-45 minutes, but this is the longest I've done in a while. But I'm hoping that you're okay with it because of how long it was since my last video. The goal is I'll do my Flosstube extra next week for 24-hour fitness. 24-hour cross stitch. But I hope, all being well, I will be back on regular schedule beginning in May to do it every other week. And so hopefully we'll get there. In the meantime, I hope everyone is doing well. I hope that everyone is surviving their versions of lockdowns, your winter weather, your summer weather, your allergies, your whatever. I really hope everyone is doing okay. And I missed y'all. And thank you for coming back. Thank you for sticking with me. And until the next time, I hope everyone's having a stitching good time. Take care.